to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taman.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taman.
Hey everybody, and welcome to yet another chemically altered episode of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. We are the People's Podcast, and we like to call ourselves the People's Podcast because we like this People's Podcast music that I'm playing right now underneath ourselves, saying that we are the People's Podcast. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us from coast to coast around the world, and of course all the ships at sea, except you Russian fuckers, which we hope sink to the bottom immediately. With me today, as always, is my man who has been recently named one of Virginia's 37 most eligible bachelors, Jesse Martin. Welcome.
That's something to be proud of. The 30 in the top 37. Yeah.
Top 37. That's
Top
right.
37.
From what I understand, number 38 was a guy that took a picture of himself with his shirt open wearing a Santa Claus suit.
God,
so you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Also is my co-host who was voted in college as the most likely to run an elementary school cafeteria, Keith Gray. What's up, Keith?
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I would like the gravy. It's going all right.
Get some extra gravy.
Okay. All right. So anyway, jumping right into the news and past my opening monologue there. You marched in a parade last week, didn't you?
I did march in a parade. My legs are still there in Winchester. I haven't found them yet.
It's because you wore those big goofy ass clown shoes. I told you, those are only for pictures. You shouldn't march in parades like that. Just bring the seltzer bottle, make a couple of balloon animals, and call it a day.
Yeah, there you go.
I was wearing my Vans. They were super comfortable.
Okay.
What the problem was is that we
just out of shape.
Well, I was out of shape. Come on. We don't need to bring up my deficiencies, Jesse. I'm just saying, we just had too much stuff to pass out, and Chris would never stop. So anytime that we had to run to go refill, we literally had to run to go refill.
When I saw him, you were saying that he kept speeding up on you when you were trying to hold on to the.
He was. I hate Chris.
I love doing that,
Chris,
shit.
but I hate you. My legs hate you. My knees do too, because there were times where I was running knee to chest. So
this is where the Shriners have it over all of you because they ride around in little cars. They got this shit figured out long ago.
It was a really good time. Terry Bradshaw was like the head grandmaster, the master B, the master G Flex.
Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw. It was kind of weird.
Here come them goddamn Hogfarmer failures from what I understand.
No, they had no idea.
The Washington Commanders.
Listen, they had no idea. They had no idea we even existed because there was a celebrity staging area and then there was a staging area for us common folk.
I'm sorry there, common folk. I can't talk to you and you're regular babes.
So we didn't even see Fred Smoot either. And he was kind of like our leader of getting Chris's truck in.
I would love to see Fred Smoot and Terry Bradshaw debate something like whether or not the afterlife exists. Just right there on stage. The two of them go right at it.
I bet you they didn't even have a conversation. They're so polar opposite. Anyways, no, we didn't even see Fred Smoot either. And he was leading us. So basically we were kind of in line once they let the celebrities go. And then when it was Smoot's time to make the right, we knew to get, okay, it's now our turn to get behind him. The problem was Fred Smoot was so far ahead of us, and a lot of it had to do because there was just so much swag that we were passing out. It was pretty much the same stuff that you got at the Park and Party event at the name reveal, other than we weren't giving out scarves, but they were giving out the nice hats. It got really wild at times because, like I said, you kind of feel bad that you can't give to everyone, and people are holding out their hand. Hey, over here, and you can't throw anything either. So I got to the point where, I was trying to make as less people as mad as possible, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to give to the kids.
Yeah, that's what you do right off the bat.
And that's what I didn't think about it. I was just thinking about giving to everyone. But when you see how fast it goes, you don't have the time to do that. So I was just trying to take the coolest things as possible. But the problem was these bags that they were stuffing for us in the back of the truck, and you'd go grab a bag, your bag would be half filled with masks and luggage tags. I love these guys, but no offense, can't wait to give a kid a luggage tag.
Oh yeah, that's
They can do so much with those. But all
Put it
jokes
on your
aside,
lunchbox, kid.
yeah, all jokes aside, like once I was giving away all the cool stuff, you'd go, and so that's what we did. We got rid of most of the cool stuff, and I think we came back with some more masks because there were so many of them, and same thing with luggage tags, but everything else was good. And like I said, you can get mad at me all you want, but you can't get mad at me when I'm giving stuff to the kids, and that's exactly what I did.
It's for the kids.
He probably
For the
gave the kids
kids.
those stupid little change purses that your grandfather had that you had to squeeze to get him to come over.
No, I was giving them all W magnets. I got smart though at one point, and I was like, you know what? I just put my hand in there and just grabbed, and then I gave it
Just
to one
start
person
throwing.
in the crowd. No, I wish I could have thrown,
Oh,
but
start a
no,
riot. That's
you can. It's elite. Like I would have gotten in trouble. So I just take it and I'd hand it to an adult, and I'd say, "Can you pass these out to this huge group of people here?"
Yeah,
You know, and so I
Yeah,
figured
right.
that
Adult
was
turns around and says, "I can sell this shit on eBay.
what luggage tags and magnets.
These are official Washington Commanders luggage tags." Hey, next
But
year,
all
maybe
the
they'll
cool
let you-
hats, and let me tell you, I was going for them too. You know, so
Yeah.
the gray hat that they gave out at the parking party, and then which I've seen on eBay for $20. But and then the burgundy, the one with the little ball on the top that used to be exclusive. I was giving every single one of those to kids.
That sounds
And-
good. Maybe next year they'll let you hold, one of the
Oh,
strings on the Richie
here was the
Payne
other
one.
thing. Koozies. Like, I'm not giving kids koozies.
Why
you know?
not?
What? I'm for what? Their soda?
No, the kids should drink beer.
No, but anyways,
Hey, if they look 15 and older, they're going to be drinking beer.
at the end of the day, though, it was a good time. Good time. You know, it went by quick. You know, but it was good to get out there and start passing some stuff out to some people.
And that was the
So-
first time you wore a hard hat, right?
Yeah. Actually, I got it
how
right
was
here.
that?
Actually,
Did you feel like a guy? Did you feel like a guy?
I bet he felt like a guy.
That sounds good to me. At the time I wore a hard hat. Oh, here we go.
I actually tried to wear it for the show. Unfortunately, the headphones
Yeah,
here
your
won't
headphones
go
aren't
over
going
it.
to fit around it.
Yeah. So you know what, man? I think for the first time putting that on, I kind of felt official.
There you go.
Official.
Yeah, I felt
Official.
like I was official hog farmer.
You weren't.
I think that's a
rookie
good idea.
anymore. You're not a rookie no more.
Yeah, I'm not a rookie. No, and listen, you know, you put it on, man. It does. It changes your personality a little bit. Like it makes
I
you want to
think
get
that-
into a fun character.
I think that what you guys would really do is that you should have a ceremony in which you are presented with your hard hat. And, Chris stands above you and dubs you with a pork loin. You are hereby
Pork loin.
dubbed hog farmer. I think that would be fun.
Hey, listen, it's funny because as I'm doing more and more and hanging out with these guys, like I'm starting to get more and more comfortable. When you can finally shake that nasty Twitter persona and people really start to see some of the good things that you're doing, and then getting to know the guys in the group, I'm just starting to feel, more and more like I belong.
I'm feeling that way soon, but I'll tell you what, you released one sex tape 5 years ago and it takes forever before anybody gets any of it.
This guy loves to just see me squirm because he knows.
Oh, stop it. So I understand you were passing out beanies, huh? Everybody got a beanie?
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
No. There was
John
a lot.
didn't get a beanie.
I
John
didn't
didn't get a beanie. Unfortunately, no. I did grab a couple.
Uh-huh.
I had dinner that evening with Josh Kirby.
We saw that you shacked up at his house with the old curbsters.
Yeah, shacked up at his
Way to
house.
go, Josh.
Listen, they gave me a nice steak dinner. Met his family, very nice people. It was just it was really good times, man. It was just good times being out there. So
But you got Jesse a beanie.
I got Jesse a beanie.
Got me, a
Not-
beanie, and that's much
um,
appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. And then I felt bad because I was like, I don't
Wow.
think our co-host John wears these things.
I really don't. I'm not a beanie guy. However, and I will say this too, whenever you are invited to a menage a trois, there's always that one person that's there that's just happy to be there, and that's me. I'm just glad to be taking part.
I wish I would have just gotten him a beanie and said the best of luck. No,
so you went to the. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I snagged a couple beanies, but I started feeling bad because it's like, there's more and more people I'd love to have given out to, but try explaining why I've got 15 in Chris's truck is
Understood.
Yeah.
Should have just started tucking them in your shorts.
Yeah. I could have gotten away with it in the Hogfarmer year, I guess.
Yeah, you had the overalls on. You could have filled them up.
Donate support to the Hogfarmers, yet I'm stealing.
Yeah, that would not be very cool.
Yeah, well,
right.
But
so
it's
you went
much
to the draft
appreciated.
party as well, right? You went to the draft party.
Yes, yeah, I did go to the draft party. Comparable to last year, there was a lot more people there.
Well, last year there was COVID, so
last year it was COVID, but there was still quite a bit of people though. But yes, everything last year, when you look back, it's like, oh, they actually did a pretty good job at the way that they handled the draft. I mean, everyone had time.
Took them a year to learn, right?
Well, this year was a lot different. You were standing in line. There was no time frames for you to wait and go. You had to wait in the line. I don't know how quick they went because I didn't do it, but I will tell you from a lot of what the people are saying is they've redone that locker room. They've spruced it up. They, of course, added the, new branding to it, but they've done more things. They're about to replace the carpet. So, maybe I wish I would have went in there and checked it out just to see, what they did. But
this is where the players get naked.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I don't
to me, it's just a locker room.
It's a locker room, right?
It's a locker room.
This is a place that I'm not coming to ever.
And I've seen the trophies multiple times by now, so there was just, there was no heartache to go see that.
I have a question for you, Keith.
Yeah.
Why would you use that?
A GIF going around. Yes. Now is this GIF of you when you're going like, yeah?
Is that really going around, or I've just seen it? Like,
all right, is that of you when during our first round draft pick? Are you cheering because of that?
Yeah, you want me to tell you the story behind
it? Because what it looks like is that you're looking around to see if it's a good draft pick or not. And then going, yeah, when you saw it.
Why don't one of y'all tag me on that GIF right now so I can look at this?
I gotta find it. I've seen. I don't know if it's going around, but I've seen it.
When you guys are, babbling, I'll look for it and show you. But yes, you want to know the truth behind that?
Yes, I would like to know the story behind that.
The shocking inside story, please.
Man, all right. So, being a hog farmer, you do receive people who are interested in speaking with you. And there was a gentleman photographer that
wait. You receive them? Listen to this guy. Listen to this. Excuse me, we are not receiving anyone at this time. We are watching the draft.
Man, I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to sound humble about this, and you still find a way to turn it around on me.
All right, go ahead.
Listen,
we receive people who wish to speak with us.
Shut up, John. Listen, we were walking. We entered FedEx. We were walking down, onto the field, and it was like a little mini. It was very overwhelming for me. I'll just leave it at that. It was a little overwhelming at first. Anyways, as we were standing there and the draft is, beginning and we're getting closer to our pick, there was a photographer that was like, hey, listen, I'd love to take your guys' picture and catch your reaction. Hopefully all of your reactions, and Joey was standing there with us too. Hopefully all of your reactions will be happy and excited and I can catch that moment. So then Chris looks over to me and he's like, bro, whoever they pick, we got to make sure that, we got to make sure that we do this right, and because, Chris worries about me a little bit. I tend to tell the truth a little bit. And so anyways, long story short, I put my hands on my head after it was announced.
Yeah, that's what.
Because I knew I had no idea who that person was.
What?
And
what? Really?
That's exactly like it. I could picture. I could see your wheels turning. Like it when I saw that guy. I knew exactly what was going through your head at that moment. I knew it.
Right. Because all I kept thinking was like, my God, we had an opportunity for Kyle Hamilton, and it was just like, but then I remembered, oh, they want that. So then I had to go switch from, I was looking around like, I was trying to look at everyone's reaction because typically, I was there in 2012 when we drafted RG3. And even though we knew we were drafting them, everyone was cheering the people that were there. So, dude, it was super quiet. And we're all just like, and so I look over and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to, and I did one of those things.
The director yelled at him, emote, Keith, emote.
So what I was picturing is exactly what happened. I was just making sure.
Yeah. Well, and I told the photographer, I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. Look, one thing about me is I don't like to lie about, especially like reactions. And I can be excited later on down the road when I learn who this guy is, but in that moment, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to fake the moment.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's where, I draw the line, and I wasn't interested in faking the moment. But then he still got it when I did that. Yeah. And that's what they use. Right?
So
you gotta see this, John. You gotta see it. It's funny. It's funny.
But so that was the thing. I knew though. Hold on though. The thing that I was afraid of is when that got passed around, that people were gonna think, or people were gonna absolutely 100% know that was staged, and that's what I was afraid of. Because truthfully, my reaction was not, my reaction was, what the just happened?
I don't think a lot of people knew that was staged. I just know you, and you played it off okay, but for someone who doesn't know you, they probably couldn't tell. But for someone like,
that was the thing. Yeah. I knew, there was people in my head within that moment too. Like when I was like this, and where I was thinking, I'm like, Jesse will call that out, John will call that out. Yeah. There's several people that will know that that's straight BS because no one knew who this guy was. No one.
Well,
excuse me.
Well, I don't know. No one.
Shut up. Okay.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. All right.
Go ahead.
I will give you my impression of what it would have been like if I was at that draft party while everybody else was standing there quiet and shocked. You would have heard one guy in the back going, "Fuck yeah! Yeah! Fuck yeah!" Because I am a Penn State fan, so I have watched plenty of Jay and Dotson.
Yeah, Penn State is
in every game of Jay and Dotson. This dude. People
good.
said to me, "Oh, he's got a 4.6, whatever. 4.6 is lightning fast. I don't care what fucking universe you're on." And the fact of the matter is, his feet are so quick. When he comes off the line, he'll get separation with a quick move, and then I don't care how fast the defensive back is, they're not going to catch up to him. So he stretches the field. He goes the middle. He's got everything that we're looking for, and I knew it the second we picked him.
So now moving on, moving into the actual draft itself. So you were happy about the pick.
Yes, I was ecstatic about the pick.
Okay.
I would have probably would have had the wide receiver, not Olave, but the other wide receiver from Ohio State. No, not London.
Garrett Wilson.
London, I know everybody at London was number one on their board.
I was never a big fan of London. I was never a big fan of London.
He looks slow, he looks lopey, and he's playing against guys that are just not the same.
And he was expecting to come to Washington, and he was not happy about getting picked by the Falcons.
Who, right. Drake London?
Yeah. He wore a fucking burgundy suit.
So interesting tidbit on this. So I didn't know he wore a burgundy suit, did he really?
He wore a fucking
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
he did not want to give any interviews or anything after he got drafted.
Well, this all makes sense. So circling back to draft night, we had VIP tickets. We were literally in VIP for 5 minutes, and then we bounced. Like, this isn't our scene. Wish it wouldn't have left so early though, because
he made a mess in his pants and left.
No, man, my guy Mark Rippon was there, and I had no idea until I seen George Carmy's pictures, and I was like super upset because that was the one guy that I would have loved to have met. Yeah. Everyone else, love you guys, but there's other times, But Mark Rippon is a guy that he's been so friendly and nice to me, and I just have not been able to physically meet him.
Yeah.
Anywho, Tanya Snyder was also there, and Tanya Snyder had no problem telling everybody half an hour before the draft that Ron's number one interest was Drake London.
Yeah.
So then it wasn't but 20 minutes later. So somebody in this little circle, and I know who they are, told Kevin Sheehan, and then Kevin Sheehan put that news out. And
I don't think the Falcons are listening. I think they were going to do it.
No. I don't care about that. I'm just saying in general.
I think it was widely suspected by a lot of people that Drake London was their number one wide receiver target. And when he goes 8, I mean, listen, they knew damn well that they were going in and getting a wide receiver in the first round.
Yep.
Drake London goes.
Got a good one.
All right. Well, guess what? They also wanted to acquire more picks. Okay. Guess what? We have people calling. Let's go ahead and move back because we have other receivers that we really, really like that we can get later on in the first round. I think Olave and Dotson are the same. Either one of them I would have been definitely okay with. Okay. And those were the other two that they really, really liked. And these are coming from sources. I listen to John Keim. I listen to Kevin Sheehan. They have people inside the building that they listen, that will talk to them. No matter what, we were coming out of the first round with a fucking wide receiver. I think.
I actually did not think that was the case. I did not think that was going to happen up until Tanya Snyder straight up, because I guess I wasn't on Twitter. I don't know. I didn't see, but Tanya Snyder straight up said Ron Rivera's got number one guy is Drake London. And I'm like, well, here's two things here. One, I don't know if a lot of people know that. And then two, if people think that Tanya Snyder don't know what's going on, just by me listening to that conversation, and I didn't interject in anything, I was just listening. She knows a lot more than what people are thinking. And that people
obviously, I think folks are going to be stupid if they think that we don't want Dan involved, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be sitting there. Or Tanya,
but I think a lot of people,
Tanya, Dan, owner, period. Every team, the owner's going to be involved.
A lot of people are under the impression though that she was really only going to take care of certain parts, like your fashion, your merch, your stuff like that. Which she's very heavily involved in. But if you don't think that she's involved in the football process and knows what's going on.
Either that or she was just sent out there to talk about Drake London.
No.
He sounds like a secret agent. That's cool.
Yeah, no, that was a cool insider moment.
Yeah.
Not insider moment, but just
I get you.
A moment to be with people who do this for a living.
Yeah.
So
I'm also of the thinking that around the NFL, these GMs and these owners and these coaches, maybe not the owners so much, but the GMs and the coaches, they're pretty much set. They know what the first 10 picks are going to be, with maybe a small little margin of error for somebody that shakes things up with a trade, but they know. I think Ron Rivera probably, and I also think that lying season is as big as ever, and that anything that they put out there, you got to take it as a smokescreen. Nobody had Jay and Dotson on their radar pretty much at all, other than the fact that he was one of the top 5 or so wide receivers that were listed, period.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, for what we're trying to build and the speed that he's got alongside with Terry on the other side, and you got Samuel, and you can interchange them all over the place along that line of scrimmage, man, go ahead, Carson Wentz. Just try to overthrow him. Just try.
Yeah.
Just try.
No, I listen, we get a lot of Penn State games are on TV here. I mean, pretty much every Saturday.
Big Ten Network.
And he was very noticeable because the rest of the team fucking sucked. He was the only goddamn good player.
He had a decent running back. He will make your quarterback look better.
Sure.
He will take passes that are not necessarily going to be good passes and will make them look better. Not Terry, not Heineken little fucking jump balls where he's got to come back for him. We don't want to see that anymore. But it doesn't have to hit him dead the number.
With the pick. I'm 100% satisfied with the pick. I think trading back served its purpose.
Exactly.
We got
top quality, and we got picks.
We got one of a top 5 wide receiver in this class, and we got more picks. They did what they set out to do.
So then let's lead into the number 2 pick then. Yeah. So we traded back. We got extra picks. What was your initial reaction, Jesse, when we traded back?
As far as our pick itself?
Yeah.
I was okay. To me, it kind of made sense. Deron Payne is not going to be, after this year, he's not going to be a commander anymore.
Yep,
okay.
Right.
You needed somebody to fill that hole. We needed depth this year. To me, I did not. Would I rather gotten a linebacker with that pick? Sure. Yes. But to me, the move that pick itself, they love this guy. It made sense. He's going to be our future starting defensive tackle for the next 4 or 5 years down the road.
I think that one thing that we've seen in this entire draft is that they don't really care about what people think about the position. If they get the guy that they want, that's what they're going to do. Yeah. And we instantly lead the league in Fedarians without question. So I'm pretty happy with that pick right there. Dude, he's a beast, man. That dude is big as shit. And he throws it around. I like it.
Well,
it's nothing against Deron Payne, but you're right. This is how you manage the cap.
He does stuff that Tim Settle, Matt Ioannidis, Deron Payne, and John Allen do not do. He can take on 3 fucking
right. He's a space eater.
Yeah, we've been looking for that for a long time.
Right.
And none of the guys on the team have been able to do that.
Right. Even with our vaunted defensive tackle first round picks, man, they still get gashed up the middle on the run. If our boy Fedarian can put a stop to that, I'm all for it.
And
they neglected the linebacker position.
He said we lead the league in Fedarians.
We do, and we're way up high on the list of Percy's now too.
That in turn will free up our linebackers, and also our defensive ends too.
Get out of here with that shit about freeing up our linebackers. Free up Cole Holcomb to do what?
It will.
Yeah, I mean that's great. They got to know where to be.
With the number 2, once it was made, I was like, oh man. I understood it though.
After a number 2, I mean, practically every time.
Number 2 draft pick. It made
call
sense.
It whatever you want, baby.
It made sense only because it made sense drafting a defensive tackle because they had dropped that nugget of news, of not extending Payne, but that was calculated.
There was walk too.
Hold on, that was calculated when they dropped that news because they knew that they were going to go after this guy. Yeah. If they could trade back, they knew that they were going to go after this guy. They knew where they were going to draft him, and they knew what the reaction to the fan base, to all these big wigs that do this for a living. They knew what the reaction was going to be. So let's drop this news. Let's let them know that we're not extending Payne, so that way they don't call us fucking stupid when we pick this DT.
Yeah, Todd McShay, he's one of the few actual bigwig scouts, analysis guys on ESPN. He actually had him graded out as a 2nd-round pick, and like he was saying earlier, you're hearing a bunch of shit from fans about value. I don't give a fuck about value. I want this fucking team, because this draft, okay, you had Bill Belichick, probably the smartest coach ever to get on the field, pick a guy from Chattanooga Hoochie Coochie in the first fucking round. That
was a great name though, Cole Strange. Now that's a great name.
Okay, that you had McVay scouted with their first pick. It was like 103rd. This draft was so different because of players staying for 4th and 5th years because of COVID last year, and the quarterbacks. So I don't give a shit about value right now. I give a shit about people coming in here and doing a fucking job. And that's exactly what Ron and Martin Mayhew did. They picked players that were ready to fucking play today.
Well, they also picked players based upon need and not BPA. They looked at the future, right? So, that's where a lot of the anger came from a lot of people was, why would you grab these guys and pass up star talent, right?
These guys aren't scrubs though. That's the whole thing.
Right.
But they didn't pick up star talent because they knew that we wouldn't be able to afford the star talent later on. So I think Ron was looking at, we need to draft based upon needs. And you started seeing it started coming together and making more sense when you talk round 3, round 4, and then you're seeing who they're selecting. And then you're like, okay, so what Ron's doing here is he's picking a bunch of solid guys.
Yeah.
So instead of, because here's what happens, and this happens to a lot of teams, and I've noticed over the years, right? You're in your first round, you're drafting, first through, let's just say first through 10, right? You're getting a star guy. That guy is going to most likely get paid after his rookie contract. Yeah. Correct. But when you're a team that has been drafting at that position, okay, 1 through 10 for the past 10, 15 years, you can't afford to pay all these guys.
Yeah.
And so it ends up becoming a lopsided draft where you get your star and then the rest of it ends up just being guys to fill a roster and you hope they make the team. With Ron's draft this year, clearly he wasn't going for BPA. Clearly he was going for team needs. Clearly he was looking at, I want all of these guys to be as solid as possible and be contributors to this team. And I won't finish my point because I know you guys want to talk about the running back and then of course the quarterback that we drafted. So I'll finish it when we get to that point.
Well, take your time, look, he's not drafting for potential. He's drafting for sure things.
And he's drafting smart because again, the salary cap, I know everyone's like, oh, salary cap's bullshit. Okay. We don't need to get into that. We're past that.
Right.
We're past that, but there is stipulations. And Ron and them, they're aware that if you put yourself in position where you're drafting these stars, so to speak, quote unquote, you're going to end up.
It's not even stars; they're potential. They have
that's what I mean.
Potential to be stars.
Well, correct.
Jameson Williams,
right? Like
potential with a busted knee.
Again,
everybody that wanted
when
to
you
tell
go
me
back
about
to the
that
first round, though, Kyle Hamilton was notated as the best player in the draft by many people. Possibly. Well, I think the reason why they were saying that was because of the safety position. It's a premium position that these guys don't grow on trees, right?
It doesn't.
So it's potential. I'm not saying that they will be stars. Who knows? But it's projected. So, you can't afford to pay all these guys. And you'll end up being in salary cap hell because you're a team that is constantly picking 1st through 10, through 5. And I think Ron said, let's look into the future of this team. Let's get guys on here that are solid and that can contribute.
All right, I got two things to
keep
add.
It going. No.
For one, the only people that do grow on trees are car wash attendants. You can get them pretty much anywhere. And I think you can plant a car wash attendant tree in your front yard. But that said, I think everybody tries to do that. All right. But these teams that keep picking in the top 5 all the time, it's not necessarily that they end up at cap hell because they got so many high picks. They have so many high picks because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they end up with tons of top 5 failures. All right. So what you see with successful teams, the salary cap now is managed with the slotted rookie contract system. All right. Mm-hmm. You can let a guy like Preston Smith go, who he wasn't a first round pick, but you knew he wanted to get paid. And his story has turned out well. But then at that point, you can replace him with a Montez Sweat at a lot less for 5 years practically before you have to make that decision again. And that's what you keep doing. You keep trying to improve that position until you get to a guy that you want to make part of your core, and then you pay him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to if you guys don't care. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No. Brian Robinson Jr. And I will say this is my favorite pick in the whole entire draft. Right?
Can I ask why?
Second favorite.
This is he. Of course, Alabama.
And I'm not asking because I'm against it. No. It's just I don't have enough knowledge to know.
Alabama is too on TV every single Saturday, and this dude right here, he will knock the hell out of you. I mean, he is a bruiser running back. He's a power back. He's not just a short yardage back. He will put his shoulder down, knock the fuck out of you, and then run fucking 10 more yards with you on his back. Gibson, for all the talent that he has, he had major issues hitting the holes, finding the proper holes. He had issues fumbling ball. This guy, Brian Robinson Jr., did not did he play 4 or 5 years at Alabama? I think he redshirted, so it was 5 years. He did not fumble one time. He's great at blitz pickup, and he knows he's got good vision.
So he can block.
He's
a running back.
He is a pure
wide receiver.
Power block. I know a lot of people are up in arms about this pick, but I love the pick. It's my favorite pick in the whole entire draft. And it would not surprise me one bit if by next season he's going to be our featured back.
Next season, meaning 2022 or 23?
23.
Okay.
See, my timeline, I saw more positive with him. I saw a lot of people that were super excited to have him
people were
on
upset
board.
because of where he was drafted, like at third round. They thought that maybe we could have got him in the fourth round, which
I don't think you take that risk.
Exactly. That's what Ron and Mayhew did. They saw players they did not want to risk them going to another team by playing the waiting game, and they went out and got them. And I'm okay with that.
Yep, that's what. Yeah, right. You target who you want, you get who you want. I like him a lot. I like what he says for Antonio Gibson too. I've seen people on my timeline that are laughing at people like me that say that decreasing his workload is going to be better for him, but I think it is. All of you folks that want to tell me that he only fumbled one time in his rookie year, I don't give a shit. What year is it now? What was the last year that we saw? We saw 6 fucking fumbles.
And
2
those
games
fumbles were
away.
bad fumbles at bad times.
They were
Yes.
right. And the issue that I have with fumbles is that they didn't get better. The problem that was happening with him carrying it with one arm and through traffic didn't change. I mean, it did every once in a while, but not enough to be able to be. So I think reducing his workload will reduce the number of times that happens, for one. And number two, he's constantly dinged up. He's constantly nicked last year. You see it with his running. He doesn't have the speed. You see him trying to cut. He can't do it. He's falling down. This will help him stay better, stay more healthy. And I think it opens up the playbook some. I like this dude. When you watch him run, Keith, hit some YouTube videos and watch him when he's running. Watch his head and his shoulders. Even when he's running through the hard traffic, his head and shoulders they're like it's like watching a hawk when it's flying. Its head never moves. All right. He's just perfectly balanced. He reminds me a lot of Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. And I'm surprised people aren't
knock the
making
shit
that
out of you and run away from
more, but he's got hands. He can even catch the ball out the backfield too. Peterson could not do that too
as well. And you should see his wrists. They're awesome.
Well, since you mentioned Adrian Peterson, that actually leads to my next question for someone like me who doesn't know enough to know. One thing that we do know is Antonio Gibson lacked breakaway long touchdowns.
Because he was hurt.
We didn't see it. Is this a guy that can do something like that? Is this a guy that can break away, or is he just one of those power backs where he hits and he's getting you 4, 5, 6 yards a carry?
He's had some breakaways. You go back and look at the he's not a burner. That's not his game. He's not a burner.
What was Derrick Henry's 40 time? It wasn't the greatest, but the last year when a dude broke into the clear, he's running 23 miles an hour, for God's sake.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care how fast he can run, but are we?
Can he get away?
Can we get away to where he's scoring 40, 50, 60 yard runs?
He's done it. He did it in college. He did it a few times in college.
We didn't see it with Gibson at all.
No.
I mean, we did, John but then he got last year. We didn't see it at all. And the year before, we saw it. We saw it a couple of times. But
Gibson,
chin splints.
Gibson. There's so many times where almost like he got caught by the shoestring. Like he was so close to being there. But you also have to throw J.D. McKissick into this mix too. The dynamics of those 3 running backs will cause nightmares for opposing quarter. I think we have some really, really, really good talent now. Some skill players on our offense. Like,
how's
seriously.
about you line both of them up in the backfield? Right?
Yeah.
And you don't know whether or not Robinson's coming through as a blocking fullback to drill the shit out of a linebacker, or they split Gibson out wide into the slot and they let him run from a wide receiver position. Man, it opens up everything.
And is it just me who noticed this? But for the 2 years that Gibson was the feature back, like, he just got tackled ugly every play.
It did. But the problem with Gibson though is because he's so new at the running back position.
Yeah, because he was a wide receiver,
learned
right?
how his vision is not great whatsoever. So he goes.
You saw him pile into his line a lot.
Yeah, he'll run right up again. He's going through the wrong hole. This guy, Brian Robinson Jr., he doesn't do that. He's got vision. He's one cut and goes. Really, you go back, watch some tape on him, watch even the YouTube highlights, blah blah blah. But do it. There's a lot of highlights on him out there, and you'll be like, oh shit, okay, I like this guy a lot.
Yeah, I haven't really watched anything yet, but my second mom, as I call her, she's huge Alabama. That's where she lives, near Mobile, and she makes fun of me every year. She's like, man, your squad loves Alabama. And I'm like, yeah. But, she gave me some insight. She watches every single game. She's a huge football fan. And she said, I think you'll like them.
I hate Alabama. I'm not going to lie, because they fucking win too goddamn much. But I watch them all the time because they're on TV.
They build winners.
Yeah,
they're pro ready.
They
are. They're pro
absolutely
ready.
Do.
All right, guys. Next one.
So who's our 4th round pick?
Percy.
No, Percy was fourth. I thought he was fifth. No, he is fourth round pick.
Yeah. No, he's fourth.
The safety.
This I don't know a lot about this kid, but from what Brian Mitchell says, he's going to be a good one. I think Chris Sims put out a tweet, and say what you want about Chris Sims. He's makes some wild accusations, but more times than not, he's right. And he says this guy's the best free, all around pure free safety coming out of college.
He's fast.
He's lightning quick. But Ron was been doing some interviews saying that they're going to put him in that Buffalo nickel role. So I find that interesting. I listened to some interviews from his coaches from Louisiana Lafayette, saying that he will stick his head in there and he's like a little missile. I don't know if he's going to fit that Buffalo nickel role. You kind of want someone a little bit bigger than what he does. We'll see. But we'll see.
That's two. Now let me explain to you
Buffalo
two,
nickel.
Jesse.
Mike.
2 times you said Buffalo nickel. Now I told people on Twitter for every time that I've either heard or read Buffalo nickel, they owe me $5. So now that's 15 in total. So 10 from Jesse, 5 from you, John.
All right, the big nickel.
Oh, wait a minute. No,
the big
you can
nickel.
take mine out of the beanie I didn't get.
Because it's painfully obvious.
Fair enough.
It's painfully obvious that we're only going to be playing with 2 linebackers this year. Because we only have 2 on the roster.
They neglect. I think that Jack Del Rio still thinks he can. I'll suit up. I'll go out there.
Yeah.
Be careful. Landon Collins might still be in play.
Now that I would welcome. I would welcome that back. However, let me tell you real quick what I would say.
We still need linebacker help.
We do.
But that's why I'm saying, even with Landon Collins back, I mean, you're still playing with that big nickel, and you're playing with 5 defensive backs.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to avoid the fine, Keith.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the fine. So
what position? He's coming back to play what, Jesse?
The big nickel.
Oh, the big nickel. Okay, the big nickel.
So it's like, I like, from what I've seen, I like the kid. I just don't know enough about him. But everything that I've seen is positive. It's great. So.
You know, the first thing that stood out to me about him was that he's such a good special teams player, which is fine with me. You need good special teams players, and you know that's fine. He's a 4th round pick. I'm not expecting him to do much right off the bat.
This is one thing that I have been worried about is the linebacking situation.
I was terrified of it. They've neglected it.
Yeah,
Jack Del Rio is so far on my shit list.
I'm not sure what they're going to do. And that just goes to show that I think, and I said this last year.
I'll tell you what they're going to do. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to try to tell you that Cole Holcomb is a freaking NFL middle linebacker that can make the difference. That's what they're going to try to do. And as much as we like the guy, I don't know that he is.
He improved, though. You do admit he improved during the season once Bostic went down.
Improved, but you know, when people want to point out to me that he led the he led the team in tackles, great, but when they're making them 7 yards downfield, I'm not terribly impressed.
But you're right.
Now, I am still terrified of the tight end and running back in those first 8 yards from the line of scrimmage. We're going to be in 2nd and 1, 3rd and 2 a lot, and that's where we get killed, and I don't like that.
You are right, though.
Prove me wrong.
Guy,
I hope I'm wrong.
If we don't end up with a guy that can play that position, that's the story that they're going to tell.
I just have
they believe Cole Holcomb is a future NFL.
I just have a feeling, and I said this last season, in the beginning of last season, that we're going to see a lot of 4-2-5 sets, and that's the way they're going. They were only in their base defense for like 30% of the time last year.
This is why I'd like to see Landon Collins come back, because A, his price is going to come down now because he's found out that nobody wants him, and 2, when he played that big nickel. When he played that Buffalo nickel, I'll take the fine. We got a lot better on defense. The entire defense.
No, you're absolutely right. Once they moved him,
$15.
Once they moved him, the defense did get a lot better. Let's go to the 5th round, and this was a kind of an exciting round for a lot of fans because we had the first pick of the 5th round, and guess what? We got a quarterback, Sam Howell.
I was against it. When it happened, I was against it when it happened.
Why?
Because I didn't want another quarterback. I don't want another. Okay, I should say this. A lot of people got in my comments and
I
showed
think
me
I
good
did
reasoning.
too. I think I didn't I?
Yeah, nobody was an asshole about it. You don't know what you people showed. This is why this is a good move. This is why this is a good move. And a lot of them wrote common sense, good points. And so, okay, I think I've changed my opinion on this. I accept this pick, and I think it's probably pretty good. But at the time, I didn't want it because I think, okay, Ron, you've made your bed with Carson Wentz. This is your guy. It's not just this year's not make or break, but this is your guy. So if you go grabbing another rookie now, then what we end up with in another year and a half, 2 years when he's gone is we have another rookie quarterback that's coming in with a coach that might not want him. It's, to me, that would make it a waste.
The thing about what makes this pick, in my opinion, so great is one, last year, Sam Howell was the betting favorite to go number 1 overall in this year's draft.
Well, that don't mean
that 2 years ago, before last season.
That doesn't mean jack.
Listen, he was the hottest quarterback. He was the hottest sophomore quarterback. But he also lost Donnie Brown. He had another receiver that went very early in the NFL draft. His 2 running backs and his whole entire offensive line gone. He didn't have anybody to play with this year. 2, this kid is going to sit and learn. There is zero pressure for him.
Right.
We got him in the 5th round. And this goes back to the value. Okay. And as much as I hate value when it comes to this draft, this pick right here, I mean, John Kime put out a tweet. Don't be surprised if Sam Howell goes at the end of the 1st round. Dude slipped all the way to the 5th round. There's no pressure on him. There's no worry for Carson Wentz to get all upset about some 5th round quarterback gunning to take his job. It has nothing to do with it. He gets to sit back. He gets to learn the NFL, and who knows what's going to happen.
One of the things that was said to me in that thread, and I can't remember who said it. And if you're listening to the show right now, sorry, I can't remember what your name is, but get a better name. But he said that don't be surprised if you see him as number 2, because even though Heineke knows the offense and he earned it last year, he played well enough, he's going to be the number 2, blah, 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 blah. If Wentz goes down,
We've already seen Howell.
It's not that. It's Howell has more of the skill set that Wentz has. All right. You're not going to have to cut the playbook except for his knowledge. You're not going to have to cut it because he can't make the throw. That's a big difference.
A lot of things are going around. Howell is like a Heineke. He's a gamer, and he's not afraid to put everything out on the field, except he's got an NFL type arm.
Yeah, an NFL type arm.
Yeah.
So, Jesse pretty much nailed how I felt about Howell. What I'm most excited about,
Mr. Howell,
is we're finally put in a position where we can actually groom a quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I necessarily mean by that, and there could be some confliction here. Everything is going to base upon Carson Wentz's success for this year. Okay. So let's say Carson is successful. We're going to sign him to a contract, right? Who knows what that contract will be? Will it be a 4-year? Will it be a 5-year, type deal? But if there's success there, we're re-signing him. Well, that can kind of put a little monkey wrench when you have a rookie, because is a rookie going to sit 4 years? So
Hell
that's
no. It's
right.
a waste if he does.
But if you're keeping Carson for 4 years and Carson is playing well in those 4 years, then you don't really necessarily care about the rookie.
Then you have faith, right?
You release
the rookie. Well, you release the rookie. He goes on his way. You don't want to hold him back.
That's not necessarily true. He's a 5th round pick. He could be a top backup in this league for 4 years.
Yeah, but if he's showing progression in camp and he can be a QB1.
Yeah, on your point, you can always, if that happens, you can always use it for trade bait.
I would say this.
I know
trade bait is huge. I'm sorry, Keith.
I want to punch all of you in your face.
Please, go right ahead. No, punch him. No.
Well,
I was going to say, you've seen it in the past. Quarterbacks that flash even once or twice in backup duty, they can become great trade bait.
Sure.
There's multiple opportunities that you can do with it. We would sit here and we'd be guessing on the things that they can do. But ultimately, overall, let's say Carson Wentz just throws up a mediocre season. Now you've got some decisions to make.
Sure.
Now we know that we're not going to roll with Taylor Heineke. When's his contract up?
After
This year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Heineke will not roll into the season. There's no question. They're not going to re-sign him as a QB2. He's on his way. So now you're looking at a situation where do we carry on with Wentz, or is this what used to be a rookie ready to go in year 2? I still feel like I'm just looking ahead into the future, right?
The option exists, yeah.
I still feel like a year sitting is still not enough, especially for a 5th round quarterback. But if you threw out the value, just in general, everyone, I mean, Jesse, I think you and I have discussed this before. I'd much rather have a guy sit, learn the NFL game speed before we throw him out on the field. I feel like that will end up being more successful than just tossing a guy out there. And I know everyone's like, well, he's a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
It
depends on the guy.
It matters what the team values that guy. Right.
It depends on the guy. You wouldn't sit Joe Burrow.
Right.
You know, some guys are ready to go.
Of course, he's a 1st round first pick. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about
some guys are ready to go.
He's ready to go. He's starting, right? But a 5th year guy, that's not happening. And a 5th year guy or a 5th round guy, even a 4th round guy, you're maybe not even going to put him out in the 2nd year either. But that's only if you're in position to where you can do that. We don't know if we're in position to where we can do that. But my overall main point of what I'm trying to make is we are at least doing something that we haven't been able to do in multiple years. We have our QB1. Yes, there's some uncertainty. There's some questions there. But we're going to find out this season. Yeah. And I think that we're going to get better results than when we had Taylor Heineke. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, sure.
That we're going to get better results with him as QB1 than we would with Taylor Heineke. So now the next question is what are we then going to be looking for Wentz? But again, going back to my point, consistency. We're finally able to potentially build some consistency where, let's say Wentz only does 3 years with us, and then boom, Wentz is done, and then Howell can possibly come in and be the guy, right? Winning organizations do this.
Perfect situations for both of these guys.
And I'm just going to give the same example I always give, and I hate to do this, but we would be naive to not even think about it. Dallas is the reason. Yes, they have not been winning Super Bowls. I get that, but they've been consistent winners.
Right. You got to stay up there to be even.
What I mean by that is they're at least creating competition and playoffs and making it there for the most part. And the reason why I say that is if you look, we go back. Who was before Troy Aikman?
Gary Hogaboom.
Yeah.
Who?
I think it was Gary Hogaboom.
Or you're probably thinking about Danny White.
Yeah.
Danny White ended up.
That wasn't my point. My point was
for a little while.
You got Troy Aikman.
Survivor.
Right. You got Troy Aikman. Then you got this guy Tony Romo, and we're all like, who? Yeah. But he came in and he did well, right? Yeah. Well, somebody, knew something about that guy. Then who came
Bill
after
Parcells?
Tony Romo? Who came after Tony Romo?
They had that clown.
Dak Prescott. So that's my point. Is they're at least rolling the position over to at least provide their organization with some kind of consistency of success. Not everyone's going to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. Only one team can do that, obviously. But that's then now afterwards you start fighting. Well, what
you look at
success to you? You look at success. Winning the Super Bowl to me is not success. I don't know about you guys because we haven't
consistently winning. And
correct.
You look at the Packers too. You just go with Brett Favre. You look at
if you got
Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, you go
that Eagles run.
The Steelers. The Steelers. They always have some. Well, this year's kind of in flux, but they always had someone in line.
But that Eagles run when they had McNabb and when Reed was the coach,
it earned them nothing. That's the bottom line of it. Yeah,
they earned them nothing, but
it gave them
eventually getting a Super Bowl though. But I'm just saying,
they went to one with that group and they lost.
It doesn't matter. We were shit where we were, where they were. No. So they were still a winning organization that stayed consistent. It's
a bottom line organization. It's a bottom line game, as far as I'm concerned. Meaning, if you don't close the deal, then all that winning means nothing. The Packers have had 20 freaking plus years of great quarterbacking, Hall of Fame quarterbacking, winning. 2 rings, constantly losing in the playoffs.
Bro, we don't even have a good reputation. We still
It doesn't
need to
make any
earn that.
difference.
No, that's
Doesn't make
true.
any difference. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, the Packers have 1 more ring than we do over the last 20 years.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
true.
care. I don't care. Their fans are still excited. You're still excited to watch your team play. There's still hope.
We are too. But even the
There's
point
still
being is,
great.
I know exactly.
it doesn't
what-
matter.
what
But I know
you
what Keith's
mean.
saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it is a bottom line
Crawl,
organization.
walk,
And I
run
think
is the way that I
that's what
see it.
Ron's trying to do, and especially with this draft, try to build some consistency. You know, he
Well-
knows we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. We know
Correct.
that.
I'll throw
think
a caveat on you. I'm
Go
going to throw
ahead.
a caveat on you for this quarterback consistency business that we've got planned out here. Okay, well, this guy ends up and then we roll it over. It all depends on what happens with the coaching. All right, because when you
That's
when you
true,
see these teams like the Eagles and you see these teams, continuity of there's one of 2 things. With the Packers, it's great quarterback, period. But continuity of coaching is so important because like Bill Belichick, he's been up there for 22 friggin' years. He knows exactly what he's going to do 4 years from now. So he can draft guys now that he knows he can plug in 2
Yeah.
years and they're going to succeed because there's not any question as to who's going to be there. That's my whole
I
bottom
know
line.
no one wants to hear this, but I don't think Ron's going anywhere.
Oh, no, he's
anytime
not.
soon.
He's not.
No,
No.
not
Anytime
this year.
soon.
Not by anytime.
No.
I even think when he hits his 5-year mark.
Yeah,
It depends
I
on the
don't
progress.
see it. I don't
Well,
go.
by then
on
we'll be
Twitter and
winning our
talk about
first
that
Super Bowl.
because there's so many people hate Ron, but I don't see it either. I
Yeah, that's why I said people don't
Yeah,
want to hear
it's
it. But by the time he
consistency.
gets to his final year of his contract, I
we know it.
guarantee you he's coming back.
Yeah,
Probably.
As
He-
long as
he's
the-
gonna le-
As long as the team is trending upwards
yeah.
and we're seeing yearly success in differences.
And that's why they did this draft this way.
Yep.
They're not going for potential star power. They're going for you're going to be solid. You're ready to rock and roll right now.
Yep.
Star power is such a freaking a mirage at this level
Yeah.
because you're going for college star power for that. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what, the Lions, they jumped up for Jameson Williams, and I am not a believer. I don't care what anybody wants to say. You go get a guy that's going to fit your
he
organization.
didn't look happy
And
either.
He
No.
doesn't look happy ever.
no.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, biggest day of your life, and they tell you you're going to Detroit. How you gonna
Holding
feel?
up his.
You gotta go live in
jersey.
Detroit.
Hey,
Yeah, I
you know
know.
what?
He
You're
looked
paying me
pissed.
millions of dollars. I'll go live in bumfuck. for
Let's
all
do
Dude,
that.
it.
you know what? You're gonna live in Detroit with $1 million. You're gonna walk out of there with nothing.
Let's move to our second, 5th round pick, and a
right,
lot of
yes,
people are excited about this pick and the tight end Cole Turner.
Yes.
Again, man, this was a pick that
A need.
it was definitely a need, but it was a tight end that people are really excited about because he's a ball catcher. He was a converted wide receiver in college. He didn't go to a big college. He went to Nevada, but this guy's huge, super tall, can move, and you're going to see a lot of red zone work from him this year.
I doubt we're going to see it this year unless Thomas gets hurt again. I
Yeah,
think this
I
is one
know.
of those picks that looks great. And
I don't
that
think
he has
Thomas is going to
potential.
start. Thomas probably going to start the season on the pup list.
Timetable with him is a little wishy-washy.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people say that he'll be ready to go by preseason, and then I've seen a lot of people that say he could miss a couple games. So
Yeah.
I
That
don't
to
know.
me is the big indicator of how much impact this guy will have. And I mean, I'm not downplaying the pick. I think it's a good pick to make in the 5th round, but I don't see him as a gigantic contributor. He's not Antonio Gates like everybody.
I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to see him a lot in the red zone. He's
If I'm surprised, I'll do this.
there. You go. All right, you saw it. We did not have a 6th round pick, but we did have 2 7th round picks. And dude,
So the
from-
question is this: what did you do during the 6th round, Keith?
I didn't even watch the draft. I did. Did
That's
y'all?
perfect.
We
Well,
had
listen, I couldn't
point
watch
guard.
it on Saturday. You know,
I watched on Friday and I watched Thursday and Friday. Saturday,
Me too.
every year the Saturday thing, as I'm in and out during whatever I'm doing, I'll turn it on and see what the biggest updates are. The newest
I
updates.
was
But
doing
I
the
don't
parade
watch
when
it.
Howell was
my
drafted.
phone goes off when we're on the clock. So it was Chris, the point guard, Chris Paul. Kind of weird. He's switching sports, but
I like that pick. He's a big boy.
He is. No, and
He's
he
a
can
big
play.
boy.
He's
That's
played
a
every
road grader.
position along the offensive line. So, position.
I always want to come away with some offensive line in
Yeah.
every draft. Give me some beef somewhere along the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a solid backup. I mean, we always have, the offensive line gets nicked up. He'll probably see some playing time this year.
I would like to say right now to Sadiq Charles, so long.
Yeah, probably. It might look like that, especially with the signings that we made. Some more Commanders. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second. And then Christian Holmes, which I absolutely know nothing about, defensive back from Oklahoma State. It's probably a crapshoot if he
body.
Yeah, he's a cornerback, right?
Yeah.
All right, special teams contributor. If he
Yeah,
does
probably.
anything,
But then we
practice squad
made
guy.
a couple additions to the week. We got
Lightfoot.
offensive guard Trey Turner. Actually, I think
Yes.
last year we were interested in him. He's probably going to be in competition with Wes Schweitzer for that starting right guard. So
I think that's good. I Trey Turner's always been a decent player, and Schweitzer
Yeah.
I like anyway. So the two of them competing only makes the position stronger.
and then Alex Eric Alexson or
Alex Erickson.
Alex Erickson.
Alex Erickson.
I remember him playing on the Bengals. I didn't even know he was on the Panthers last year. Yeah. So what do you guys think about all these players coming from the Panthers?
I don't really care,
I
and
don't
I'm not
care either.
surprised. It's just like coaching. Look, these guys, what I have to say about this, these guys have a personal relationship with these coaches. That's why they feel comfortable with them. They bring them in. It makes sense. Why are you going to bring in a guy that you don't know? Right. And then you get onto the player standpoint. Yeah, I know it's a bit much because it's happening a lot, but you can't fault it. This coach understands what this guy could possibly either bring to the table, and also he's going to know that it's going to fit in with the locker room culture that they've presented.
People were actually
it's
mad.
not uncommon.
People
this
were
is
mad
not
about it.
uncommon.
mad that we brought in a 5-time Pro Bowler
Right.
to come in and
Right.
compete.
It's wild.
People were fucking mad about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they were mad when we brought in Erickson, who never met Ron Rivera in his entire life.
He's
spent
85% of his career in Cincinnati.
he's played 1 year in Carolina last year, and people are
5
fucking
years in
mad.
Cincinnati.
This
And
fucking
the reason why they're mad is because they're like, oh, well, Ron Rivera talked to the coaching, and that's what happens. That's called creating relationships in the league. He was still friends with people in Carolina. He's calling up. He sees availability and he says, hey,
got rid
tell
of
me
all
about
his people.
Hey,
He
tell
could
me
call up-
about this. Hey, tell me about this guy. What's this guy do? How is he? How is he in the locker room? You can get all that information from people that you know and you're comfortable with. And then you make the decision to say, will this guy fit if he were to make the roster on our squad? I mean, I think it's Twitter, and I've learned you'll learn every year how more ridiculous every year it is.
And radio's job is to anger them.
Everyone's mock draft busted fucking round one. Okay,
I don't.
I
don't think that they have. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, from there, everyone's mock draft busted round one, and from that point forward, there's not many people that can convince me that they truly believe that Dotson, was there and that would be there in the first round. And so it was a shock to everyone. But I continue to keep saying it's a shock because when you sit for 6 months and you listen to all these people circle jerk each other. Oh, Chris Olave, this and that, and Drake London, this and that, and this and that, and I want this and that. And then they end up drafting a guy that you never heard of. Some of you fans, he heard of him because he's a Penn State fan. But there's a lot of people that didn't know anything about this guy. And so that just drives to my point is I don't give a shit what anyone says on Twitter anymore.
They don't know shit. They don't know shit.
Exactly. And not that I put a lot in, stock into them thinking that they did, but you can't help that when you read what they're saying. And then when you see what, the Mel Kuypers and all these other people that do this for a living are kind of matching up. Well, at the end of the day, these Twitter couch GMs are getting that information from these guys too. And,
all right, well,
that's what it rounds,
Go ahead, John.
Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and say that reminds me right now we've got to pay some bills, so we will be back in a flash.
Oh my, I can't believe they picked that guy. What a bunch of losers.
Do you have what it takes to be an NFL draft expert?
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you know more about draft-eligible players than your friends?
Damn right, morons.
Do you find yourself overly consumed with 40 times, catch radiuses, and hand sizes?
Kenny Pickett can barely hold a golf ball.
Then the NFL Draft Expert Academy is for you.
The NFL Draft Expert Academy.
The NFL Draft Expert Academy at the Millifrew Institute has trained many of the most respected NFL draft experts in social media today. Experts like Dave95832 and MuffEaterXX93.
Hey, I follow those guys. How do I get in on this?
To find out if you qualify, ask yourself these two important questions. How many mock drafts did you complete in the last 12 months?
639.
How many picks did you get right?
Almost 5.
If you answered either of these questions, then the NFL Draft Expert Academy is for you.
All right.
Your obsessive compulsion to pretend to be an NFL general manager means you have the skill it takes to be a certified draft expert. And our top placement service ensures that you will have multiple websites and blogs ready to let you write for free to get valuable exposure.
Wow, that sounds great. How do I get
To
started?
get started, send $499.95 to NFL Draft Expert Academy, care of the Millifrew Institute, P.O. Box 45, Washaaka, Connecticut 60606. Johnson, quit daydreaming and get those fries up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Anderson.
Get out of that dead-end job and be the NFL draft expert you've always wanted to be. Send $499.95 to NFL Draft Expert Academy, care of the Millifrew Institute, P.O. Box 45, Washaaka, Connecticut 60606. Do it today.
And we're back. Another good one from John.
Here.
Look,
I do have a question though for you guys.
Oh, yes.
we're going to this shit. All these. Oh, I don't like to value the. Listen,
Whatever.
Those
I'm gonna read
motherfuckers
something.
sitting in the world. They do this for a living.
I'm going to read
You
something.
Twitter motherfuckers. You don't know shit. We don't know fucking shit.
No. And fuck all these people that know what they think that they no, because here's a guy that does this for a living. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. This is from Bleacher Report, the 2012 NFL draft grades, ranking the teams that failed on draft day from Donald Wood, April 29th, 2012. Number 1 with an F, the only F of the day, goes to the Seattle Seahawks,
Yeah.
2012. After one of the worst picks in the first round I can ever remember, the Seattle Seahawks didn't draft any positions of need or for the future, blah, 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 blah. As if the day wasn't bad enough, Seattle selecting Russell Wilson, a quarterback that doesn't fit their offense at all, was by far the worst move of the draft.
Yeah.
All right. Go look at them. They drafted
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, then they drafted Russell Wilson. And, oh, for God's sakes, anybody
don't
anymore that wants to
know
tell me about
shit.
the experts, shut up now.
You
sit
fucking
down.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You
I stopped
tweeters,
listening.
you don't know fucking shit.
No,
You know,
you
I stopped
don't.
listening to the experts, but you can't help it when you're on every day and you see what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
You know, us
Oh,
regular
yeah. You
folks,
like to argue about
the
it.
common
sure.
folks. You want to
We like to talk
argue
about
or whatever the case may
Sure.
be, but
We all have
you know,
opinions.
at the end of the day, it's just funny because
You don't know shit. At the end of the
You
day,
don't know shit.
You don't know shit.
Exactly.
The
I
best part is
personally,
everybody, they caveat it. They say,
What
draft
is
grade-
Ron doing? Shut up. You don't even do this for a living. Ron
Yeah.
does.
Right.
Like,
Go
he
get the
knows what
fries.
he's doing.
Right. Fries are
It may
done.
not
Clark.
work
Just
out.
Get him in the
but
window.
at that moment, he knew what he was doing.
See, the thing is that all these people, they'll caveat. They'll say, well, you can't properly give a draft grade until 3 years from now. Okay, so how'd you do 3 years ago? We never hear that. Nobody
Yeah.
ever writes a
Yeah.
fucking article that says, here's my
Yeah.
grade from 2019. So
You know,
shut up, all of you.
Kyle
But don't
Smith.
shut up,
It's
because
so
it's a lot of
funny.
fun.
Everybody's so like we're
Yeah.
upset when Kyle Smith didn't get the GM job. But guess what? If you look back at his drafts, they weren't very good. I mean, he picked a couple good players here and there, but I mean, come on. now.
McLuhan was supposedly a draft genius GM, and we
Yeah,
had our
Scam-
issues there too. So you're going to have them everywhere.
Listen, Listen, draft is a crapshoot.
Pass me the bottle, buddy.
Ron understood the draft was a crapshoot. This was especially a crapshoot this year. So he just picked the most solid players he could at positions that we needed. And I personally, I really, really like this draft.
So I do too. Sorry, John.
No,
I just want to say I do too, because I felt like this was a draft for the future. Now, also with that being said, one thing that we
They
didn't get
all
into,
are.
no, but I'm just saying we didn't load up on Star. He looked ahead.
Right.
We know that Payne's not resigning. He looked ahead and he drafted the guys who he knows that are, if they can't contribute this year, they're going to contribute. But I wanted to ask this question before I forget, because it's something that we did not touch base on when we talked about Robinson. And so with having Robinson, you got McKissick and you have, Gibson. what does this mean for Patterson? Does Patterson go to special teams,
Yeah,
or does he go to practice squad?
Because this guy that we just signed from the Panthers, the newest Panther that we just grabbed, he's a kick returner.
Yeah.
So
listen,
Patterson's only way on is a special teams kick returner, as far as I'm concerned.
That's pretty much it. And I know he was a big story last year, undrafted free agent, but guess what? He was an undrafted free agent, and he didn't. I was never as high on as everybody falls in love with somebody, in the draft.
We love him in the fourth quarter of the preseason, boy.
Listen,
look at him go.
But look, I just don't see a place on this roster for him right now.
So last season people did, and that's where I want to bring up that we need to be real careful with our expectations from this draft, because there's going to be another guy and there's going to be another story just like that.
Sure.
And we as a fan base always seem to hand over a Hall of Fame jacket within year one.
You're right about that. You're 100% right.
I'm giving one right now to Fedarian. That's right. We're going to put Fedarian's name in the Ring of Fame just to have one up there.
I really liked.
I hate you, John.
Why? What did I do?
The team with the most Fedarian. I knew exactly where you're going with that.
We do. We lead the league in Fedarians. There you go. You got to find.
Anybody got anything else?
All right. No.
I noticed I stopped hosting this show like 2 minutes after it started.
Well, I know. Listen, you guys know a little bit more than I do when it comes to certain people. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll start
a little bit about love. Maybe I can guess the rest.
Yes. I do have something. I'd like to proudly announce that in
Are you pregnant?
2022, no, but if you looked at my gut, you'd think so. The Fan Ambassador Program is returning.
Uh-oh.
Hey, there you go.
Same ambassadors?
Hot take. Will you be receiving guests this year?
Okay, so let me explain this one, gentlemen, because I had an amazing, and it was an hour-long meeting.
Amazing.
So I don't know, and I haven't talked to Joey yet. I don't know exactly what his position is when it comes to the program. Joey was involved with Maggie. Maggie was the one that created and really ran the program, right? Well, now we have a gentleman who is leading the program with Maggie, but this gentleman, his first name is Patrick. He's been in the league for 16 years working marketing for other NFL teams. Well, he is now a proud commander, and he is going to lead the way this season with the ambassador program. Now, there was some things discussed in the program that's happening. So you remember how we had community, fashion, we had all these groups that we were talking about?
Yes, the fashion people really love
so it wasn't officially said, but the consensus is it's gone. That is all gone. So whatever remaining ambassadors that wanted to be a part of the program are still a part of this program, and this may be the final year for it. We don't know. Everything is a year to year based upon budget. Okay, so there you go. Don't know if there will be one in 2023. Wait, what year are we in? Because I forgot my birthday. We're in 2022, right?
Yeah. Are you going to get a paycheck? Wait a second.
Huh?
Are you getting a paycheck?
No paycheck.
Okay.
No paycheck.
No budget.
No paycheck.
So in other words, if somebody has to go to the soda machine, the fucking ambassador program is over.
Right. So my point is this year, gentlemen, we are heavily focused on the 90th anniversary of our football team, and we're going to be celebrating this year. We're going to be celebrating the
Let's
Hogs,
celebrate 90-year-olds.
the Posse, the Fun Bunch. We're going to be celebrating that, and we're celebrating the 3 Super Bowls. Okay. That's all I know on that. I will tell you, and I personally, this is not coming from the ambassador program, I personally feel that the reason there was a jersey problem where people were having a hard time getting a jersey and they had to push it till June type of deal is because they are adding a 90th anniversary patch to the jersey. Okay. That's my information that I have. But The biggest thing that I feel that I personally got out of this is where we legit told them where they sucked last year. Okay. Besides, like, the obvious was also mentioned, but also not having kid merchandise in the store.
Sounds like being an ambassador's fun. Let me tell you how you suck, buddy. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you. We left and their asses were red by the time that we were done. Okay.
Well, have a lot of connotations.
Well, it was a good ending, but it was an ending letting them know that
would you say it was a
job? We explained to them that they need to do a better job at utilizing us, and getting us involved with this type of stuff. Like this category stuff, we're done. Like, it's just reach out to us. If it's things that, we can use our strengths. So my strength is social media. So if I need to reach out and get a fan base reaction to something, we're able to do so. They can watch, they can make decisions determining that. Basically, my point of telling you all this, though, is they're 100% well aware of their issues, and they're going to involve us more, which could be a great thing. It could also be a negative thing, because if the actual thing that they're doing doesn't go right, then guess who people are coming after?
As well, we should. I mean, but I would like to make everybody aware that if you are coming after the ambassadors, especially the hog farmer ambassadors, you must make an appointment so that they will receive you in turn.
Well, like I said, the point of telling you is the program is going to exist, but I think they're going to utilize it much better.
I think that's pretty cool. I would say this for most fans. If you don't listen to this show, you probably don't even know the fucking program exists in the first place.
That's correct. That's true. That's true.
It can always get better.
That's true. But we didn't, basically my point is we didn't sit there and kiss their ass. We basically explained to them where they effed up and where they could do better. And especially in the marketing aspect, this was my perfect opportunity to say, well, stop with this last minute stuff. Look, plan ahead, and then utilize us to push this stuff out there. So that way we can create excitement, and get people. I said, because at the end of the day, fan engagement is the most important thing to a lot of us, because we don't have the winning right now. And we understand when you get the winning, we don't care about all this other stuff. But in the meantime, the fan engagement and reconnecting the fans is the only thing that we currently have. And a better job needs to be done. And I think we're starting to see a better process with us moving to iHeart. They got rid of the negative radio. And then on top of that, you have podcasters, which Jesse, I'm going to punch you in your face for not being there and doing that. You should have.
They had a bunch.
Had to work.
I know. But again, they're opening the door for many podcasters. All you had to basically say is, yeah, I'm a podcaster. And you could have been in that room and you could have been interviewing these guys. But
they aren't going to let me do that.
But my point is,
not for long. Not for long.
But my point is, though, is that fan engagement is happening, and it's happening more and more and more. And I think that they're making boss moves, and they're going to make sure that this happens. And I guarantee you, some of these guys in this local media, they're going to get flushed out, and it's happening on purpose. Jason Wright is playing chess, and these local media guys, they're playing checkers. They ain't going to be ready for it. But I guarantee you, we're going to care less and less about JP Finley and Pete Haley, because podcasters are going to start running the show, because they're
I put out all the time.
Right after the draft.
You want real like raw stuff about this team? I mean, come to the podcast. The shit that you listen to the radio is exactly that.
Right.
Shit.
JP Finley's tweets, go check them out. They've been a lot more positive lately.
Right. And we don't have advertisers to sell to, because ain't nobody going to advertise on our show. But we don't have to generate ratings.
Millifrew Institute.
The Millifrew Institute. Yes. Yeah. We thank the Millifrew Institute from Washakaka, Connecticut. We are very much appreciative of them.
Thank you. Thank you to our sponsors.
The Millifrew Institute's always in our corner.
Our sponsors keep us going.
And I don't know how you guys feel about this, because I shouldn't make jokes about it if you guys want to take this to another level. But if you are wanting to take this to another level, you're going to have to ask me to leave, because I don't give a shit. Yeah. I've been doing podcasting for a long time, and that next level is very difficult. Right? There's no need. There's no security there at all whatsoever.
No, I don't necessarily think, though, it's something that you have to commit yourself to, so to speak. But to have a one night opportunity where you can interview guys like John Allen, former players and current players, those opportunities are going to be there. Basically, we're getting the access that we've never had before. And that access is coming more and more. I mean, the year prior was at the Burgundy zone, they were on field in their own little area and got to do the interview. And well, then what Jason Wright did was, because he realized, look, we've got a million podcasts that of people literally talking about the passion of the team. Let's be innovative. Let's do a little something different. And I popped my head in that room. That room was large, and there was, you could see everyone wearing their, gold sleeves and everyone's interviewing. And it was an opportunity that I think it changed certain people's lives. And it was an innovative thing for them to do. And it was a great thing for them to recognize podcasters who sit here for free on a daily to talk about a team that they're most passionate about. And I think people don't need to overlook that.
Well, don't get me wrong, because I know some of y'all listen to me. Those of you that do want to take it to the next level, Doug, Jamal, you guys, more power to you. More power to you. I support you in every possible way. It's just not for me. But I would love the opportunity to talk to Fred Smoot about this. He would know what it is if he ever saw it. So, Fred, if you're looking at that, Circle Tank. Listen, I'm telling you what, I told you I've been podcasting for a long time, and right towards the end of the Bang Radio Hour, we had Fred Smoot on the post game. We didn't have him as a guest. I got audio of him on the post game talking about Dwayne Haskins' first ever NFL play. When Jay threw him in that game that time, Fred was trying to tell us that you can't go back now. He's in, you can't go back now. But the way he told us was, when I was a player, I spent a lot of money on a lot of things that you ain't supposed to spend money on. Spent way too much money. So I got into goldfish and fish and aquariums and all that. And I put these seahorses in the aquarium, and they all got stuck in the corner, and they died. They died because they can't go backward. They ain't got no reverse. So I'm dead serious. He died. And he said, if you got seahorses, you got to put them in the circle tank. And I thought to myself, this is Fred talking about our quarterback situation. Yeah. I would love to have an opportunity to talk to Fred about the circle tank and how that applies to the rest of the team. And trust me, if we ever did get in that room next year, these players are going to feel a lot better talking to us, because I'll ask them something like, Jonathan Allen, I don't care about, your game day preparation. You're just going to give me the same old bullshit answer. But tell me, have you ever taken a shit that's run you out of the bathroom? We will ask them some questions.
Honestly, though, that's the way I would want to go in and do it. Maybe not necessarily that specific question.
No,
but I guarantee you, when they did interviews for I'll just say there's 30 podcast groups in there, maybe, I don't know, but I guarantee you that's what it was. What's your prep like for the day? So what do you think about this? That's where I know that we would separate, because I would just want to make a fun environment, and you can slip in a couple questions in between, to get what people want to hear, but that's the way that it should be.
Oh, dude, we could have them talk to Jerry Jones or Dan Snyder. We could have all kinds of fun with them. So maybe next year we do that.
What they did draft night will not be the first, or it was the first, but will not be the last. I guarantee you.
Cool.
So
good.
I like
after we're finished, that'll be the last. They'll say, we're never doing this again. That guy asked John Allen about taking a shit. Get him out of the stadium.
And someone
put him on the rip. He busted nowhere.
Someone at draft night did say, where's the Burgundy, or where's Bleeding Burgundy at? And I said, unfortunately, guys got to work.
Got to work. I just came from vacation and just couldn't make the trip.
Yeah, all good.
Get out. That's all
right. Anything else?
No, I'm pretty sure that we've cleared Ty this entire episode. Ty's got nothing to complain about.
No.
Right?
Unless you want to throw a bomb out there at the end.
Nope, I'm done. Nope, Ty has taught me well.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Buffalo nickel out.
All right. Mike.